You've been running a campaign for a while now. Your players were super excited to start, but after that new campaign smell wore off a bit, the action and engagement seemed to be lacking. Sounds like you need a pause, and then something to reinvigorate your campaign. And today that is exactly what we are sitting down to talk about. This is Behind the Screens.
DadGamingOnline lead the way. New RPG systems every day. Dice roll, quick adventure calls. Walking through tabletops, golden halls. Masters of pen and paper. RPGs of every flavor. Talking about different creators. The choice of games is never greater. Come with us to games they run through. New, old, and interesting. Thank you all for listening.
Welcome in, Masters of Pen and Paper, episode 35. My name is DG, and this is my main man.
Vinny, how's it going, everyone?
How is it going? It is episode 35, so you know what that means? That means that this is one of our Behind the Screens episode. And today, we are talking about the power of the pause. Pause.
Yeah, that time when things aren't just aren't working quite right. You're starting to slow down on your campaign. It's time to maybe think about taking a little break.
Yeah, give it a little bit of a pullback. We're going to talk about maybe the best times to do that, maybe to spot those warning signs, things like that. And it's for when you look around the table and it feels like the campaign, it's run out of gas, right? Like people are losing interest in things. People aren't participating. Maybe you as the DM aren't feeling like you're giving it your all because you're just burned out, right? And this is normal. Like, this is a thing that happens at all TTRPG tables.
Yes, it is.
And I don't think there's any group or any game that is not susceptible to this.
No, I can't think of a game. Well, probably one of the one-shot games probably doesn't apply here, but if you're doing back-to-back ones, yeah. Any prolonged playing, it's going to happen. Right?
Sometimes you need a break.
Especially for that one Forever DM.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel
the poor guy. and the beauty with identifying this and going through these steps is that you're taking a break, you're not quitting, right? Because all too often, A lot of times these groups will hit that pause point and decide, you know what, we're going to quit. And then the game's done and no one comes back. And the intention here is to call it out, set some rules, and then come back to the game so that you can get back up and running again after a little while.
Yeah, it's a pause, not a stop. This is a see you later, not toodaloo. Exactly.
So, again, as I mentioned, this is part of our Behind the Screens episodes where we do these on every fifth episode, basically. They're not specific to any TTRPG out there. A lot of my experience comes from Dungeons and Dragons. But with that being said, the intention with these advice is that you could apply this to really anything, right?
Yeah, we try to be system agnostic with it because
that's the point of the podcast.
Almost a hobby, right?
Yeah. That's the whole point of the podcast.
Otherwise, this would be a D&D podcast.
That's
and there's
right.
Like a billion of those out of there.
Up to this point, there are currently 30 games that we have reviewed or done walkthroughs on in this podcast. And that's a whole lot of games to take a look through, which means it's very likely you're going to hit one of these breakpoints. So.
And only 2 of those were D&D.
That's true. That is very true. So, Finney, I think that with all of that being said, it's time for us to jump into the meat of this discussion. And to kick things off, I think the best place to start is to identify, how do you know it's even time to take a pause, right? You as the DM, how do you even know that, like what we're talking about, where you look around and it's time to halt things a little bit?
That is a great question, and I would love to answer it, but there's no simple answer.
There is no simple answer.
Because typically, and this is what we've noticed with our gaming experience, our vast gaming knowledge, that it's when player engagement starts to fall off a little more than usual. It's getting a little harder to bring them back in, like herding more kittens instead of cats, right?
Yep. People are saying they don't feel like playing tonight, or they're always busy.
Exactly. You've possibly run out of content for your players to go up against, right? And just needed that little bit of time to flesh out a little bit, get it going. You as the GM are doing that thing where, hey, it's game day, and you haven't prepped since last week.
You closed the books, and that was it.
Oh boy. Yeah, and the players are starting to notice that, hey, we're doing not a lot and getting not a lot done. So, yeah. But above all else, it's when we're not really having fun anymore. Players aren't having fun. You're not having fun as the GM. The scales are tipped past that one person, and they're like, hey, this just isn't working anymore, right? Yeah. And this is where people will get up and start leaving the table. We're trying to get in right before that happens, be like, hey, look here, this is happening.
It's identifying the problem as a group problem, not necessarily one person's issue, right? Because we've talked about it in different episodes where you have, a problem player at the table and then you deal with that one individual. But what we're talking about more is a little bit across the board. It's not necessarily one person is having issues with the campaign. It's the table. It's the GM and a few players. It's we as a collective group are deciding, something's not really clicking and we need to get that sorted out.
Yeah, we just need a breath of fresh air, maybe, swing off and do a couple one shots, come back and hit the ground running.
Yeah. Right? This is also a great opportunity to change games too. Take a break from Dungeons and Dragons and jump into Traveler, jump into something else that is out there to shift it up a little bit. Right. And so the first step to figuring this out after that is kind of getting to the root cause, right? Like we need to understand, why are we here, right? As the GM, why are you thinking about taking a pause? Because the reasons that we just mentioned just before here, it's important to understand that you as the GM, it's not your job to fix the game, right? Your job as the GM is to identify this if no one else at the table has said anything, and bring it up, right? And we've said all along, and we'll say it again in this episode, communication is number one. If you have open communication with your table, a lot of these problems are going to go away simply just by talking it out, right?
They don't become problems anymore. They become things that happen. And problems are things that are problems. Once you open up that back and forth with your table, it's not an issue anymore. It's just a thing, and it's done. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, once we've got an understanding, that it's more than just one player. It's kind of everyone at the table is feeling the same. It is possible that if it's not everyone at the table and it's just you, it's possible that you as the GM, you might be experiencing GM burnout, and that's something else. Right? What we're talking about is a group issue. GM burnout is a GM issue, right? The players are willing to play, but the GM's not willing to GM at that point, right? And so that's something else. And keep an eye on one of the next behind the screens episodes coming up, because we're going to be talking about GM burnout in one of these next ones. So because that's a healthy thing we have to talk about,
and how to deal with it.
And how to deal with it, because it is a major issue, especially, again, for those forever DMs that just play DM forever. I mean, it is a very rewarding role to play.
Sure.
But there's a lot of work to it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's not all plus signs.
No. And it's not for everyone.
Yep. And if you're a forever DM, there's a lot of work, the pre-work that goes into it, right? The players have to show up. You have to do the stuff in between. And so it makes sense. And so if you're feeling burned out, This isn't going to solve those problems. This might help a little bit, but be sure to tune in on the next one where we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, this could tie into your burnout.
We're gonna touch on it, but we won't deep dive into it.
Yeah, no, that's for another episode.
Yeah,
We've already got a lot to cover here.
That's right.
So what you're wanting to do here is you're going to, after the session or before the session or whenever, sometime, you're going to sit down, you're going to call a table meet, and you're going to say, hey, look, guys, what's going on?
Yeah. I would almost recommend that you choose either an off day to do this. You could do it after a session. I don't like doing this kind of thing before a session. And the reason for is if the players take it the wrong way, you're going to have a bad time. It could mean that session doesn't take place. And so I would recommend, unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, that's a different story. But
emergencies are completely different.
But if we're just kind of feeling it out, I would recommend that you send a message or you let them know at the end of a game, like, hey, can we have a quick meeting to talk about where we're at in the campaign? If they want to talk about it right now, that's great. But otherwise, I would recommend doing it in an off session because you've got to get them out of game mode and into reality thinking about where we're at kind of mode.
Yeah.
I find when we're playing games, I come down about 2 days after the game. When I start thinking about all the things that happened during that session. As a GM, those are the moments where I start thinking about like, this is what we're going to do next session because I need that decompression moment. It's really, really hard to do when you're in the zone kind of thing, you know?
We do play till the wee hours
That's
of the morning,
yes.
so that doesn't help anything. having a group meeting after our sessions is tough because
100%.
Everybody's played out.
Yeah. I think an off day is your best choice, personally, if you get a choice.
Just
aim for a day.
Send out your mass text, and be like, hey,
we just need to have a quick chat just to make sure we're all on the same page. That's it. It's not a positive or a negative chat. It's just a communication.
And it can be over text, right?
Yep.
It can be over Discord. You don't have to have a sit-down meeting with them.
For sure.
Be just
text. Be sure that your group is accepting of that, though, because if you've got people who read into text and read tone
Between
when
lines.
it's not there kind of thing, maybe not the best spot. They may feel attacked. So obviously your mileage may vary depending on your group.
But you know your group.
That's right. Yeah, you got to know your group.
Most of this stuff is kind of covered like a session 0 type scenario. Except where we need to be hyper focused on everyone around the table asking questions like, how is everyone feeling about the campaign? This is just to get a general consensus of if everyone's feeling okay. Is it too much exploration? Is it too much fighting? What's happening here that's causing the lackluster engagement?
And if you throw this question out there and everyone around the table is like, no, we're having fun, this is great, we're doing awesome, and you're not feeling that way, that's GM burnout. That's where it's it's me then, right? This is your moment to find out, is it just me or is it everybody? As long as your group is honest with you, right? If everyone around the table is like, yeah, we're great, everything's great, and then you have your session and nobody's participating, that's when you have to start digging a little bit deeper.
Yes. If you have people pleaser players, you're going to have a bad time with it because ain't nothing.
Yeah. Honesty and communication is key here, right? We said we're going to talk about, we're going to keep harping that out because you as the GM, if everyone's saying, yeah, we're great, that's you as the GM. That's your opportunity to be like, okay, well, here's what I'm seeing though. And you have to call it out. You don't have to call it out in a mean way. Like, John, I noticed you're never paying attention. No, this is more.
No, be general. Don't be specific.
Correct. Yeah. Keep it on the high level. But identify what you're noticing and how you're feeling as a GM. If it turns out that it's everybody is fine except for you, I think you just solved the problem.
Yeah. But if there are something to ask more questions and be like, how is the pacing feeling? This is it too fast? Is it too slow?
Yep.
What's going on? Again, does everyone have a clear understanding of what the campaign is and what we're trying to get done? Are we having problems with the themes of this campaign? Are we like, what's going on?
Are we
again,
too distracted while we're playing, or is this me not describing it properly, or...
A lot of this stuff is settled in the session 0, and if it happens, you have your session 0.5.
Yep.
You know, you're going
your
forward,
touch points. We got to check in with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's always the direct approach that been like, hey, guys, I've noticed over the last few sessions, you guys aren't paying very much attention to what's going on around you in game. Out of game, I mean, there's some phone action going on. I mean, there's whatever. It's this table, not a big deal, but it's happening more and more. So,
So what's going on?
maybe if we have to make certain changes, then let's talk about those. If not, I think we have to do something else different here.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Right. And I mean, do keep in mind, right? Like, if your table is open, communicating, and honest with each other, the life issues, because stuff's going to come up, right? People are going to have problems. Life is going to drive into the middle of things and make the decision. So if something's come up that the players need to take a step back, this is an opportunity to identify, like, hey, are we taking a break because John's unable to join us because whatever it is that's going on in his life? Are we going to continue without them? Are we going to switch games for a little while? This is an opportunity for a pause. However, a healthy table, you're going to know this and immediately deal with it in the moment rather than have to call it out, kind of thing. So we're not really talking about those. We're talking about there's like this black cloud over the table, and maybe everybody notices it, but nobody's really willing to talk about it. You as the GM, I'm sorry, it's your job to identify this, call the meeting, and get the people talking.
Yeah. This is the elephant in the room kind of thing where
it's your game.
Hey,
if you want it to, if you want it to work, if you want it to get up and off the ground, you're going to have to make sure that that everybody's healthy, not just the game itself or a couple of the players. And everybody being healthy includes you, GM, as well.
Exactly, because this is a group thing.
That's right.
Not a versus thing, right? Everyone's there to have fun.
That's right.
So you've identified that, hey, there's things going on. What do we do now, do you?
Yep.
Is it time for a break?
This is it. This is the identifying that it is time to take a break, right? Why, I think is where we kind of land with, right? Because when we have that session and we identified all the things we just spoke about, we now need to have another session. And I know that sounds kind of weird and counterintuitive, but what we need to do is we need to ensure that we are all on the same page with what we're talking about, right? When I say we're going to take a break and you hear it's time to be done with the game, we need to make sure that we're both on the same page. If we're not both on the same page, we need to get to the same page or we need to go our separate ways, right?
Yes. This has to be an agreement among equals.
Yeah.
Here.
And so again, rule number 1 is communication is key, right? You're going to let everybody know that we're taking a break. You're going to work on your campaign. If it's a GM thing, we're going to work on, whatever it is. If we're kind of not feeling the story, I'm going to need 3 weeks to rework that so that I can come back with the revisions and get that changed. Whatever it is, whatever the reason for the pause is, this is the acknowledgement that we're going to be taking it. And you know what? Like, we're adults. We're going to have adult conversations.
That's right.
We're not going to take offense to it. We're all going to be on the same board. If we're all in agreement, then the first thing we've got to do is we need to set a hard date. It doesn't have to be, we're going to reconvene on January 17th at 10 a.m. You know what I mean? It needs to be more like, we are going to take a 4-week break and then we're going to come back to our standard time frame.
That's right.
The reason for this is because you do not want everybody to take their character sheet, chuck it in a drawer, and forget about the game and move on, right? We are pausing temporarily and coming back. We are not quitting the game. So if it's going to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, everybody around the table needs to agree. And then we stick to that. We come back in the 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 5 weeks to try it again, right? And you need to be honest here, right?
Yes, you do.
If you come back too early and we haven't fixed the problems, that's probably the end of this game. right?
Yeah.
In my experience, you get one crack at this. If you take a break, people will mostly be fine with taking a break. But if you take a break, you come back, nothing's changed, and then you ask for another break, you're probably done. That's probably the end of the road here. So be honest with yourself.
I will say, keep the break as short as possible.
Yeah, we're not going to do 6 months. Again,
No.
life problems are life problems.
Yes, life problems are life problems.
But I would always recommend that if someone's got to step away for an extended period of time, you come up with an alternative. It may mean pausing this campaign until that person returns, but then starting a new campaign in a different direction or a different game or something else.
Yeah, in the meantime.
Yeah. Keeping the repetition of your group going is really the lifeblood of a healthy game. That's how you'll make sure that you are constantly coming back to the table.
Yeah. And we know this because we're going through one.
That's how it works. Yeah, that's real life, man. That's basically how it is. But yeah, it is crucial that, especially if you're dealing with story issues or GM specific things, it is absolutely imperative for you as a GM to make sure that you're taking the amount of time you actually need to get this ready. I used to work at a place. My boss used to say that we are going to under promise and over deliver. And so what that would mean here is that if we as a GM say, you know what, I think I'm going to need 3 weeks to fix this story, we're going to agree that we need 4 weeks then. Because two things. One, it's going to buy you an extra week if you need it, because you might need that extra week. Two, if you get it done in 3 weeks, you're potentially going to bring the group back a week earlier, and they're going to be like, wow, this guy got it done really quick. Things are really good. And if your changes are effective, they're going to think, wow, you did a really good job here.
You could also over prep and do more stuff. So
don't do that.
You don't have to do a little bit more.
Over prep in a good way. Over prep in a good way. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you meant that if you take too much time, you're gonna like over prep. You don't do that. But yes, you're right. Get yourself so that you are ahead of the ball. Right.
I know what I do when we go on a break, and I have everything lined up for the next 4 weeks.
For sure.
If we're taking 4 weeks off, I have everything lined up for that next 4 weeks. I am booked.
Because then all you're doing is just a little bit of changes here and there, and keeping it down the road, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's good
Just
advice.
adding a little bit to it. Yeah, and then you don't have to prep so much for the next couple sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
So part of the break, you are going to recharge yourself. You're going to, work on your campaign. You're going to, figure out what's causing the problems with it and suss that out.
Yeah.
And the players are going to put their pencils down, tuck their sheets nicely into their binders or folders, sit there and wait, tapping their fingers on the desk, waiting every day for you to call back.
Hey, we going to play yet? Hey, we going to play yet? Hey, we going to play yet?
No, they aren't. They'll be good. But when you're ready to come back, you'll need to start this campaign. When you're ready to come back and start this campaign, when you are ready to get back to it, you'll need to start changing things to prevent this from happening again, right? So that means that when we do a bit of homework, that means we need to do a little bit of homework before we all head back from our break, right?
That's right.
Players as well as GMs. GMs, you have a little bit more homework than the players do, because the players just have to find new reason to be excited about playing games again.
Yep.
That's that. GMs, you kind of have to find new reasons for the players to be excited to play games again with you. So,
exactly. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. Not sorry.
Sorry, but also not sorry. Yeah, it's part of the job as a GM.
Yeah.
Just before we move too much further on, it kind of dawned on me as we're talking here that like we're taking a pause, but part of that pause you need to take a break, right? And I really think it's important, especially for you as the GM.
Yes.
Sometimes take some time to decompress from the game a little bit, right? Like I had mentioned, it takes me a couple days to come down from a game session. Take a little bit of time for yourself away from the prep and the work and stuff like that to get your head on straight. It will help you in the long term of getting your stuff. Don't take too long of a break. If you're taking a 3-week pause, don't take a week and a half of that as a break.
No, gosh.
But do take a couple days for yourself at least to come down a little.
And while you're doing that, do not look or think about your campaign.
Yeah, put the campaign away for a little while.
Rules or any of it.
I find that by doing that is what really will break up writer's block, or if I run into a wall, that is the magic secret. I'll be having a shower and I'm like, oh, that's what I should do. And then I get out of the shower and I pump it into my phone in notes so that I remember it.
And I would forget by the time I got out of the shower, and it would be lost to the ether.
You need a microphone in the shower.
Yeah, I just need to. Everything needs to be recorded. Everything.
Exactly. But sorry, Faye, I jumped in when we were talking about what. So we're talking about like what you need to start when we take that pause. There is some prep work that we do need to get ready to go. So
this and before we pause,
we leave, right? Because we said we've got to kind of call the group together for a final session, so to speak, to get our ducks in a row. So
after we've talked to our group and said, hey, we've all agreed that it's time to take a little time off.
3-week break.
Yeah. We still have to keep playing. Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys got to go through the motions a little bit still, because yes, it sounds counterintuitive to keep playing while you're all burning out and whatnot, but you need to get this campaign to a place where you can pause for longer than a session or two, right? Yeah,
taking a pause in the middle of a fight is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Taking a pause in the middle... Sorry, go ahead.
3 weeks, you come back to that fight, nobody's going to remember.
No one's going to remember. Yeah. Key story points in the middle of a key story point, also not important or not a good idea, right? Because you're not going to remember these things if you're going to be away for a month. So you've got to drive the game. The GM, you're going to identify to your players like, listen, I need 1, 2, 3, whatever sessions, however many sessions it is. I need this many more sessions before we have a clean break. Again, if it's an emergency, it's an emergency. There is nothing you can do about it.
Exactly.
But we're talking about we've identified at the table, like, hey, we need to make some changes. It's not necessarily an emergency, but if we don't change something, it will mean the inevitable end of this game.
It will end this game. Yes.
This is your moment, GM, to identify, like, hey, I need one more session to wrap this fight up. Once this is done, we are going to go to this town. And when we're in that town, this is a great place for us to take a pause, and then we'll come back.
Exactly. What we want to do, ideally, what I would like to do is tie up any loose ends we can. This includes quest lines that are unfinished, stuff that can get forgotten over an extended break.
Yep.
You know, like, I don't know what we have this feather in my inventory for.
Exactly.
It's important because I wrote it down.
Yep.
But I don't know what it's for anymore. And then everybody's flipping through their notes trying to figure out where this quest line started, where it's going to. It's a mess.
Exactly. So, and it's important too, the more of these things you can knock off, the better it's going to be for you as a player. This is where it's important for the player, because if you don't knock these side quests off, you're going to have to write down notes for yourself so that you can remember this stuff. So the more stuff of this that you have in your inventory, the more side quests you've got, the more NPCs that need to be talked to, means more note-taking and work for you to ensure that you've got everything you need in order to move the game forward from after you come back.
Now, I would like to also see the main quest progress to a spot where it can pause.
A good break point.
Where there's no ticking time bomb going off in 3 days, this is going to happen. Well, okay, that's great. And I mean, the ticking time bomb 3 days from now would be a great spot to hop right back in. It would.
Of course.
But
of course.
As that bomb's exploding, not so great. Now, we at Masters of Pen and Paper understand that this will not happen for hardly any of you.
Sure.
It won't, because it's really hard to get this all in one bag and ready to go.
Absolutely.
But if there's a side quest that is more like a secondary main quest, there's not much you can do about that either.
Of course.
Because if you're in the middle of a 15 session long quest, you're not gonna tie it up in a session or two just to make it go away.
Your table's going to probably get fed up before you get the end of it. So as a GM, it's important to acknowledge which ones we need to wrap up, which ones would be nice if we wrapped up, and which ones we're just not going to be able to do.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I would recommend that you probably shouldn't push this more than two
sessions,
maybe 3 sessions, but honestly, I think you need to wrap it up with 2 or less. If you can do it in 1, that's even better. And you as a GM, to make sure you pull back a little bit. Like, look, we're getting through stuff. Pull your fights back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You can take a little bit of the wind out of the sails. Don't make it obvious, but you can make it so that you can speed things up a little bit longer, right? Reduce the amount of creatures in the fight from 14 to 7. Yeah. And there you go. You just sped that fight up, right?
Exactly. If you're at the beginning of the dungeon and the players need to get to the end of the dungeon, shorten the dungeon a little bit.
You shorten it up a little bit. There's a lot of things you could do to pivot. But the important thing to identify here is you're not running to the end, but you need to be mindful that you've got a problem at the table, and the longer we let it sit and fester, the more likely it is the game's not going to reach its actual ending. Instead, it's just going to reach an abrupt one. So be mindful of that. But as much as this you can get knocked off, the better. Yeah. Because if you don't get it knocked off,
the players have to make sure that their character sheets are all up to date and tidy, which all players, of course, have beautiful, tidy character sheets that are up to date with notes that are up to date.
Help your GM out. help your GM out, because your GM's already taking a ton of notes. This is the opportunity. This is something that you as the player, you can take on yourself to give a little bit of a relief to your GM. So like we said, items, any quest things, any side quests, any NPCs, any important things that you've learned along the way. Take very, very good notes. This session is your opportunity to start writing out a lot of this stuff so that we don't forget.
Yeah, it is.
And you can share the load with the other players. Like, you don't all have to take down the same information, but help your GM out so that your GM doesn't have to carry that in addition to fixing, changing the campaign, doing whatever it is that they need to do.
Because they're busy.
They're going to be a lot more busy on the break than you will be.
Yeah. Now, as far as the GM side of things,
the busy GM.
Do the bare basic.
Yep.
We aren't saying just wing it until you get to a spot where you can only prep what you need. Don't expand the main storyline if you don't have to.
Yep.
Don't add in more side tracking for the players to be, there's a well over here, and we're going to spend the whole session investigating the well. That's never happened.
Pools of water. But the reality here is pull it back, right?
That's right.
Your default mode of operation as a GM is going to be make sure you open all the doors for the players. We're saying close a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to open these up down the road, but for the time being, we're looking at speed, efficiency, and making sure that we can get to a clean breakpoint. That's what we're aiming at.
Yes. But with that being said, you are the GM. You are in charge of creating and conducting an enjoyable experience table.
Mm-hmm.
They're big boots to wear.
That's right.
You still have to do the job.
You picked up the book, GM.
Yeah.
You hold the book. You hold the power. And this is what this episode is all about. This is why we're talking about it, right?
This is exactly why.
It's you got a lot of work coming up. Make it easy for yourself and cut off a little bit of the side in order to save the table, save the long run. You can always add that stuff that you're cutting right now down the road, if it's still useful when you do your reworking.
If there's a mini side quest that could happen in this dungeon, well, maybe it happens in the next dungeon if it's not super relevant, right?
Yeah, we're driving to get to a break point. Keep that in mind. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, shooting for the end, not the end, but the finish.
Shooting for a
midway.
It's a break point. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A checkpoint. Yeah. So ultra important. While you're having your little talk session with your players and being like, okay, here's what we're going to do, this, we're going to break for 3 weeks or whatever. Mm-hmm. Ask your players for some feedback as to what they are expecting from you as part of it.
Yep.
What do they want from this game? Again, because session 0 was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we established, hey, we wanted a treasure hunting dungeon crawl.
Yep.
Well, now we don't want.
Yeah, maybe now that we're playing, the players have decided they want something else.
Yeah. If they are identifying issue campaign, the way you're running it, or any other things within the GM control, this will be your job to fix the break.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say to rewrite the entire campaign to a game that the players want to play.
Yeah.
You still want to tell your story, right?
Well,
the way that you want to.
And this is an opportunity that if you want to tell a mystery story and nobody at the table wants to play a mystery story, this is the time for the table to elect a new GM.
Yeah.
Unless you are willing to throw your story in the trash and start with something brand new that's tailor-made to the people at the table, this may be the time when it's like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'm not the right GM for this table. Does someone else want to create a different story that's going to mesh a little bit better? Because the story that I have is ABC, and what you guys are asking for is XYZ, and we can't make this match.
Yeah.
I'm not saying quit as a GM, but
Don't
I am
quit
saying
as a GM.
I am saying be honest with yourself. If your players don't want to play your game and you don't want to make a new one,
that's right.
That's just where it is. It's not a bad thing. You tried it didn't work.
It's not.
It is what it is. Your game will fit different players if that's the case.
Yes, and maybe it'll even fit the same table.
That's right.
But not now.
Not at this point, right?
Yeah.
But if it is just a few odds and ends changes that they're saying, you know what, we want more encounters, we want less encounters, we want the ability to have whatever we want to do for dungeons, et cetera, et cetera. Like you said, Finney, it's your job to fix them. You're now the person in charge of making sure that this gets fixed. And if you don't fix it, right, this is crucially important, because if you don't do it, we're
it'll
done.
Fail.
We're done.
It'll fall flat on his face. The table breaks up, and you're not playing anymore.
And that's that. So again, honesty is going to be key here. If you're the GM and they're asking for changes, they need to be specific about what changes it is they're asking, and you need to be honest on whether or not you're willing to implement them into your game.
Yes. If they're asking for a pirate-themed game and you're in the sci-fi future,
yep. It's not going to mesh.
I mean, if you can shoehorn it in, maybe, but if you as the GM are willing to make it work, all good. If you are not, that's when we have an issue, and we have to talk some more to our table about what's going on. Hey, I'm not willing to make my sci-fi adventure a pirate thing. Yep. Y'all need to find a different game. And
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's the mark of a healthy table. If we can all agree, if we're being honest with each other and we can agree, look, like my GM story, my path, the way that I do this doesn't mesh with what you guys are wanting. I don't think there's anything wrong with you putting your hand up and saying, you know what, I don't think this is going to work. Who wants to run it so that we can do it the way that you guys want it?
This is a great time to say, hey, we're going on our break. Yep. Why don't we play a one-shot pirate game?
Yeah, let's get it out of your system so we can get back to mine.
Yeah. I'll sit in and I'll play as a player, but somebody else please run it. Yeah. Because I'm over here doing my other work.
Yeah, I think it's a solid compromise, right? Like if this isn't vibing with you, let's do something else. I would rather switch games. I would rather step down as GM. I'd rather bring in a new GM than have our game stop playing, because I want the game to continue, because that's why we're here. That's why we're having fun, right? So,
I want the group to continue.
Exactly. Yeah. The content, it is what it is. I guess to wrap it back up, the GM, it's important that you do not get so attached to your game that it's my way or the highway, because that will end up being the catalyst that destroys your game, right? Yeah. Be ready that if your players aren't feeling your game, put it away. Find something else. Take the higher road. Take the high road. It is what it is. It's not always going to be the best. If your players are willing to tell you, you know what, we think we need a different GM, take that as a bonus, because that means that your players are at least honest enough to tell you how they're actually feeling, instead of trudge through it and then quit because they're not having fun.
And that would be a table I would kill for.
For sure. Yeah, it'd be the best.
Yeah, it would be, because everybody be happy. Well, more or less. Everybody would be honest, and that's the biggest.
I'll take honest all day. You're not always going to be happy, but at the bare minimum, at least we know what's going on and how to fix it.
At least we know what's going on, yes.
And how to fix it.
So getting back to everything. Sorry,
We
tangents.
tangent. That's behind the screens episodes typically have tangents because we just talk with each other for the most part, right? Like this is what it's like being in the room with Finney and I, by the way, when topics come up. There's a lot of this kind of stuff, but
it goes all over the place.
Do be ready
and
for
it
that.
is fun. If you hadn't already, make sure that you have some way to communicate with everyone.
Yeah.
Not individually. I would like a group.
Yeah, you're gonna want a
could,
group messaging
of
here.
some sort, because it's a lot easier to ask the whole group a question than to ask 7 people. Hey, hey, hey,
John said this. What do you think, Sally? Sally said this. What do you think, Joe?
And then someone's a middleman, and it's not fun.
And we play telephone and the purple monkey dishwashers at the end. It's a whole thing, right?
Yeah, not fun.
Not fun.
Find a group communication thing, whether that's like a email, whatever.
Discord.
That's old.
Text messaging, whatever it is.
Who emails anymore?
Hey, you never know. It could be a thing, right? Maybe you have a Slack board.
There you go. So, taking a break. What do we do on this break? I know. Work on your campaign.
Yep.
Oh, thanks, tips.
Yep.
Got that. Now what?
Exactly. Well, I mean, obviously, it's going to be based on what the problems are.
Yes.
But if the issues, I got to tell you, the vast majority of the time that I've experienced pauses are areas where we have to work on the campaign, right? Whether it be that the GMs run out of ideas or that the players aren't feeling it, most of the time you're going back to the table and you're going to put some life back into your campaign a little bit, right?
That's right. You're going to spice it up a little bit.
Exactly. So your downtime, you're going to want to find ways to kind of get that mojo going again, right? If that means that we've got to change our major plot thread, then we're going to do that, right? It might sting a little bit because you've probably created this big epic story, but if the players aren't feeling it, again, you've got an option: either step down as a GM, let someone else take over, or fix what the players are asking you to do. So, I mean, we're not talking about completely redoing everything. If you've built dungeons, they can be reflavored. They can be reconfigured. They are not trash just because we're not in that world anymore. But you've got to put the effort into ensuring that you're meeting whatever concern it is that the players brought up.
I wouldn't even suggest rewriting the overarching story that you have. I would find different ways of telling it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all it's going to take.
Yeah. Like maybe you introduce a seldom used mechanic in the game that is intriguing to you, at least. Try that out. Maybe there's a siege that comes out of left field in the party's downtime. All of a sudden, you've got excitement for when you want to reinvigorate your campaign, right? You got it's possible that you need to take some time to flesh out some of your NPCs, the more likable, hateable, etc.
Memorable, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Memorable NPCs are memorable, and they are the ones that make campaigns. They are the fun things, right?
Exactly.
Give them all goofy names. Give them accents. Work on your accents while you're down.
Let the players come up with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
exactly.
You can throw a lot of work to the players to assist you with. Obviously, some stuff you got to keep secret, but you can say to the players, like, what kind of shop do you want to see in the towns when we go into them? Right? What would you like to have a table? One of the things that I had done is I opened the book to shops and said, if you can find the adventuring gear in the book, if it's standard adventuring gear, rope, pittance, food, water skins, etc. If you can find it in the book, it's in the general store. Full stop. Yeah. There's no haggling. There's no bartering. There's no nothing. Take the number of copper points or silver points or whatever it is off of your character sheet as identified in the player's handbook, and you've got it. That's it. There's nothing else, right? A lot of the time, these areas where you're going to have to tidy up are going to be long-winded fights, long-winded bartering sessions, or stuff that is specific to one or two players. I would also recommend, as a GM, ensure that you're including all members of your table. Do not just riff with the loud ones. most tables will have your people who are regularly role playing or that are jumping at every opportunity. Make sure that you do everything in your power to include the people who might be a little bit more quiet. And that may mean calling on them specifically. John, this person walks up to you and says the following, what do you do? And literally call them out in that moment so that you can start to include them a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, it really helps with engagement if you engage with the player directly, right? Ultimately, you do know your own table, right? You know what gets them excited. If they dial in for combat, you know, combat started. Everybody sits up in their chairs and, you know, all right, let's do this.
Yep.
Okay, well, it's not that hard to pivot from a whodunit mystery to a whodunit physical, like Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yeah.
A fighter mystery, right? Something
Sure.
that gets the juices going for everybody at the table.
Yeah.
Is it the right choice for everybody? Probably not, but
that's why we're being open and honest, right? Yeah, that's exactly. Right. I like the idea of like, just as you were talking, it's like there's a mystery in a fight club. You got to work your way now through
the ranks.
Yeah, there's a fight club or a gladiator ring or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and there you go. Now you've got you've tied your mystery in with combat stuff, merged them, and you've created a new story for your players. Now your
players are re-engaged.
They're invested and they're ready to rock and roll again, right? So you don't have to do full changes. You can. That's a nuclear option. I'd recommend against it. Yeah. But if your players are just full on, like, listen, we don't like this campaign at all, it's possible.
That's tough.
You know? Yeah, it's tough.
That's tough. Yeah.
That's what it is.
While you're on your downtime, you also can be refreshing and reviewing your mechanical components, like the rules, basically.
Yep.
This is taking time to refamiliarize with some of the rules that are not so forward-facing that, like, you know, there's always that one set of rules that you and your table, it comes up like every 4 sessions and everybody's like, well, how does that work again?
Yep.
You're flipping through pages, flipping, looking, and you're not finding it. It takes you guys a half hour. Everybody's got their phones out Googling it.
Exactly. Well, and it could be something like, you know, we were talking about how it's difficult to do damage and incapacitate heroes, right, in 5th edition. And so we came up with the concept of like, okay, then what you need to do is you need to stabilize someone who's dying by either touching them or casting healing to them. And if you do it via healing, they don't get the HP, they simply stabilize, full stop. So you've got to cast 2 healing spells in order to stand somebody up, or you have to be standing right beside them, which means you may have to run into the fray. And that's designed to help boost the risk factor in a combat. Stuff like that. Coming up with new rule sets, the way things work, is a perfect opportunity to talk about with your table.
Exactly. And we really like that. Well, our table really enjoys these little
tweaks,
new adaptations to stuff. Yeah. It breathes a lot of fresh air into a game.
Yeah. And then finally, we kind of mentioned it before, but make sure your notes are up to date. You've logged any key events, that character sheets are collected and rounded up. If you're playing in person, the GM could hold on to the character sheets. That way nobody's changing anything on them or anything like that, right? We trust our players, but we verify.
If you have to cheat at your make-believe game,
that's on you. Yeah, you definitely aren't going to win any prizes in my game with that. But I would recommend that everything's up to date, everything's collected. Leave it with the GM so the GM can use that. And then the other bonus with the GM holding the character sheets, you can now work stuff from the character into your campaign and use that as a way to pull them into it as well.
Because as every good player has a lengthy backstory with a whole bunch of plot hooks in there, just waiting for the GM to scoop in and snag onto a couple of them to drag them in.
Exactly.
Says the guy that doesn't ever have a backstory. I'm sorry, I don't.
It's all good. But I mean, once you've got that done, you take your break, you do your stuff, you get your stuff prepped, you get your stuff done, and then we have to start, so we've descended. And now we got to start coming back up. So now it's time. Yep. It's time to make the donuts. Time to get back to work.
Yeah. Pull the cord. Start her up. As you start to get closer to the return date, or if it's earlier, because the group has decided we want to get back in.
If you did that overpromise thing, and you're like, hey, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Now we're in earlier.
It's time to schedule another session 0, or as we like to call it, 0.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pseudo session 0. It's basically we're having another session to get ourselves prepped and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Hey, this is where we sit down and we go, okay, welcome back, guys. I'm ready to go. Are you? Okay. Mm-hmm. Here's the basic rules here again. No phones at the table.
Yep.
Okay. Snacks, nothing messy, Keep
making sure that we're all still on the same page. If something's changed, we need to identify it.
Exact same basis as the session 0, only we've established them already. Yeah, so it's going to be super quick.
We're in there. Yep. Shouldn't be too long. Yep. Yeah, and if you're interested in a refresher on session 0, how that works, we did a behind the screens on it in episode 10. So you can go back in the catalog, check out episode 10, where we talk all about session 0 and why it's important and what you should do in them.
All the way back there?
Yeah, we've had 25 episodes since then. So make sure you check it
out. This is a great opportunity for you as a recap of the campaign. Mm-hmm. This is where you say, when we last left our heroes.
Yeah.
And do it up in a way that is going to get your players excited for what's coming up, right? Yeah. And ready to go. They're sitting there, they're sharpening their pencils. Actually, they probably already have their pencils sharpened. They're ready to go.
Exactly.
Right? Make sure to be paying close attention to any spots where you were asked to change and show that you have been these points, right? To the point of, the point of this break was to go away, fix some things, come back, and pump new life into your campaigns. To show the players that you are doing this.
This is our opportunity to show that off. Yeah, prove it to them that you made some changes, right? Because we need them to buy back into the game.
Yeah. Finally, do a final check. Make sure everybody is okay and ready to go.
Yep.
Because if we are not ready and John says, well, actually, I got an appointment tomorrow when we want to play. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
Let's get our schedule sorted.
Life happens, but sort it all out. Yeah. Have the players review their character sheet. Make sure they remember how their character works. A. B. What their characters are and how they act and do all this stuff, because they've already established a life for this character. Make sure they come back and they are not a completely different character.
Yeah.
Players, please don't bring a new character with an old character.
Don't do it. Please don't do that. And so, Finney, here's the thing is that we took the break, we came back, we had our session 0.5. It's possible that we get to this point and we're realizing as we're going through this that maybe it's not time for our table to come back yet. Or maybe it's time that we don't come back ever, right? Because it's possible that you're looking around the table and you're seeing all of those things taking place. If it wasn't a GM issue, maybe the players are pulling out their phones again. Maybe they're not paying attention. Maybe we're kind of all disconnected, right? And so if we do that, then what?
It's okay, D. It's okay. It is time to put the campaign down.
Yeah, if it's time to call it a day, that's that. It's that simple, right? Like if we took the break, we tried to put the work in, we came back and we're still not getting it. Like I said earlier, you probably get one crack at this, right? You take the break, you come back, and if things still aren't fixed, that's probably it.
It's time to put it down. Yep. It's time to switch it up, do something else.
Hang up the cape.
Whether that is finding a new GM or finding a new game to play, whatever, right? But that is,
and I mean, this one's done. And the thing is, and we talked about it too in session 0 a little bit, but I mean, like mismatched tables are a thing, right? Maybe certain players need to be swapped out. Maybe it's not a whole table thing. Maybe it's a couple players thing. Maybe
it's a couple problem players.
Yeah, whatever that issue is, we're an honest and open table that communicates. We need to be identifying it and rectifying it, because if we don't deal with it, we just trudge ahead, we're done. Like we're going to call it early because if we get halfway through the campaign, everyone quits. It's going to hurt because you as the GM, you just put in a ton of work to get this prepped and ready to rock and roll, right?
It's still going to hurt.
It's still going to hurt, but it's
still going to hurt.
At least you're facing it head on instead of having it come out of the left field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not. Hey, it's Thursday and I'm ready to go. Where are you guys? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, John's busy and Lisa can't make it, and Theo is like, just don't feel like it anymore.
I just don't like playing the game anymore.
Yeah,
that's it.
And that's not to say that you might be still dealing with your burnout.
That's true.
Right?
Yep.
It's a thing.
Yep.
Burnout is a real thing.
Yep.
And if you come back, you feeling like, yeah, I got this. You sit down and you're like, I don't have this anymore.
You might realize during the break that you don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
You might take that break and have that feeling of just like dread of like, oh, I've got to go and I got to build all those maps and I have to build all that encounter and I don't want to do any of that work. If you acknowledge that during your break, that's the time to tell the players, you know what?
Yeah.
We took a week off. I don't think I'm the guy for GM. I think someone else got to do this because it's just not for me.
Send your message out, and players will say, "Okay, cool,
you'll be fine."
We will we'll find someone else to play GM for. Hopefully, they go, "You are welcome to join us."
Yep.
Or John is stepping up.
Yep.
He will run Pirate Borg for a couple sessions for us. Maybe that'll be the little bit more of a break that.
Yep.
If not, Lisa, I think wants to run some Traveler. Perfect.
Exactly.
Done.
Yep.
Now, players, this is a great opportunity for you to step up and BM.
Yep.
Because it is cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I firmly believe that if you have a table and a long-standing table, that every single member of that table at some point should be a GM or a DM. Because then you understand how much work goes into doing it. And then it's going to help you understand why it's such a pain in the butt if you're not paying attention.
We did cover this on a couple.
We did, yeah.
Every time. Every time this comes up.
It's the curse of the DM, thing. Honestly. Like, I swear way back in the Stone Age, they were asking, why don't the people who play in my game pay attention?
Yeah.
I put so much work into this.
Every time the player DMing comes up, I say, you don't have to write a whole story campaign.
No, you're not writing a book.
No, go get a one shot, sit down with it, buy it.
Watch an episode of Scooby-Doo and do that.
It's even if you're not a writer, I am not a writer.
Yep.
I hate writing. I cannot write my own campaigns for the life of. I have to run pre-mades. I have to run one shots because I suck at writing.
Yeah, play into your strengths.
But
someone else is good at doing that, so just let them do it.
Yeah, let them write it. You take it and you run it how you run it, and it will be a great game. And if it's not, well, your players suck, and you should find a good game.
Exactly.
No.
And honestly, you're gonna have a point where whatever the reason for that pause was, it needs to have its conclusion, right? It needs to be rectified. So
yes, it needs to be finished.
This is where we're open and honest, and we identify. We pause the game to deal with this problem. And then here's how we've dealt with that problem, right? We're going to be incredibly direct. We are direct and we are open for discussion. If it was a GM thing, the GM's going to say, you guys didn't like the way that the story was going, so this is what I've done to rectify it. You're not going to say, this is the beginning, this is the middle, and this is the end. But you're going to say, here's the pieces that I've kind of added in, and here's how I'm going to change the story so that it should line up. But I want you to tell me if you feel like it's not connecting with you. Be open. Be honest. Yeah. Be ready for discussion.
Please.
Let them ask you stuff.
Do not be aggressive.
No. There's going to be disagreements.
There will be. Because that's a healthy conversation. Is disagreeing and
if you've got
setting points forward.
If you've got 7 people around the table, they're never going to agree on everything all the time.
No.
I'd be surprised if
I'd 7 people who can agree on anything.
I'd be surprised if they agree on anything ever.
Whether it's opening this door or that door, right?
Exactly.
It is what it is. And it's okay. It's what happens. If the issue was that you were feeling burnt out, and it just is not doing it for you, let the players know.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Have that conversation.
Tell them, hey, this is what happened, this is what I did, and it's not working for me.
Yep. Yeah, this is your last chance to check before we get started again. So if we're all kind of on shaky ground, that we gotta clear the air and make sure that we're all pushing the same direction. Because if we're not, we're headed for disaster anyways, right? And then I think the last thing before we actually kick the game back up is getting a full group consensus. We need the table to agree that we're good to go. And if we are, it's go time, baby.
Here's the dates we're playing.
This is when we start, and here's where we go. Because if we
hop back on that wagon.
And if we're not, maybe we need to pause for a little bit longer, and we come to that agreement. We go from there. But assuming that we are good and we do kick back up, Finney, how are we going to make sure that we don't slip back into this now?
Well, you remember way back before we started this break, we sat down. You know, before we even finished up the little bit of campaign that we had to go, we sat down and we said, hey, what do you want changed? And the group said, well, this. Okay, you have to ensure that you did this. If you came back and you wrote the exact same thing that you had before,
we're not making any changes.
Fail.
Yeah.
No.
You've got one crack at this, so you need to make the change. Don't fall back into bad habits, right? If the players said we don't like when you do that and you keep doing that, the players will leave. That's just how it works. So make sure that you listen and you act.
The idea here is that after this pause, this feels like a new campaign. This doesn't feel like a continuation. This feels like something
we've started over again, kind of thing.
A new chapter in this campaign. So bring lots of energy to the sessions. You, the GM, show up and be excited to play.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't phone it in.
Show up and be excited to play. All right. Don't show up because you have to.
If you're showing up because you have to, acknowledge that and leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Do the rest of the table a favor and
maybe you need to take an extended break, and if you do, that's your message to the table and say, hey guys, I want you to go ahead. I need to take a longer break from this because I'm not ready to come back yet.
That's right. That's happened with our table.
There's nothing wrong with that. I prefer that.
Yeah. I would rather have a player step away for a year and then come back and be engaged and ready to go rather than being distracted this whole year, right? And distracting everybody else at the table for that year. After a couple of sessions, ask your players how they are liking changes that you've made. Is it up to your expectations?
Have that check-in. Make sure that things are still healthy.
And this is like a 15-minute little...
Oh, yeah. This one can be directly before a session. Like, hey, how we doing?
Yeah.
You know, like...
how's everybody feeling about
this? Is everyone happy with my changes?
Are we liking the way this is going? Keep an eye out for the old issues that pop back up, because we as people and humans are creatures of habit. If you have been running a campaign for a very long time and you've been asked to change it, you're going to change it and then fall right back into that old campaign style.
Exactly.
It will happen. And it does happen, right? Be sure to catch it as you're writing it out and be like, oh, wait a minute. This is the part that they didn't like. Scratch that. This is what I'm doing instead of this. Done. Perfect. Excellent. Watch out for yourself. If the issue was a GM burnout thing and you came back, you felt invigorated, ready to go, watch for the signs of burnout again. Now, we'll cover burnout in another session. We'll cover the signs of it and all that other stuff, but it's up to you, the GM. Nobody else is going to see this except for you. The players won't.
Yeah, well, they can't tell how you're feeling. They might start calling you out on it. Yeah, if you're in the middle of burnout, it's possible that you're going to start phoning it in again, and your game's going to suffer as part of it. So make sure that your head's on straight. Keep your stick on the ice, as they may say.
Check in with yourself every now and then.
I mean, I'm going to throw it down one more time. It's important that you talk with your table, right? Everything that you just said, we're talking about like a 5-minute, 10-minute quick chat at the beginning of before we get started. Everybody around the table is here to help. We're here to work this out together. This is a group game. This is not a one-person game. If you're playing a solo RPG, I mean, I guess there's that. But on the whole, if you're doing a standard TTRPG, the intention here is for us to come together and have a fun time. If somebody's not having fun, then we're not doing it right. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to make sure that we're all being open and honest with each other. It is very much conversation and honesty that is going to save the day for you here.
I realize that you guys have heard us say that for
a very long time. Since episode 1, like, practically.
every behind the screens podcast has been conversations.
Because
everything's conversations.
It's should be everybody, but you and I are especially firm believers in the understanding that we're all adults here. We can have adult conversations. We can very easily say this is where I'm not having fun, and not have somebody at the table take incredible offense to that, right? Because we're not saying it as a personal attack. We're saying it as, I need this to be identified because I'm not enjoying it. And if it's just a me thing, then I have to deal with that just me. But if everyone at the table's feeling it, it's not just a me thing. It's an everybody.
That being said, constructive criticism goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Do not label it.
Yeah.
That is a bad communication thing.
No. If the story...
We're talking healthy communication.
100%.
Not labeling.
Yeah, if the story's not going the way that you want it to go, going to the GM and saying, hey, GM, you're no good at writing stories is not the right way to go about it. It's more from the point of view of like, listen, I'm not really clicking with this story. I'm not feeling it. And throwing that to the table and say, is it just me or are you guys kind of feeling it too? Like, no offense. Like, I see you done a lot of work to it, but it's just not really clicking with me. And seeing if someone else is like, yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
And then coming together to come up with a solution to fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we are all adults at games playing for fun.
We're all in it together. We're here to fix it together too.
But we're here to have fun.
Exactly.
Everyone.
I mean, that's about it. I mean, we could keep saying the same thing, but at the end of the day, that's what it really comes up to, right? And to kind of wrap things up into a neat, tidy package here, taking that pause is incredibly healthy. I'm a firm believer in taking a break. Right. And, we've been using the terms pause and break almost interchangeably. But the concept is we take a pause, but then we need to take that recharge break. And if you're being open and honest with each other, your group is very healthy and you're in good shape. Right. We played a ton of games. Some of them are on hiatus. Others, the GM just needs to take a break to refill their energy. And honestly, for me, when I call for a break, it's because I'm running out of content and I need to fill up the tanks again kind of thing. Right. So, those are marks of a great gaming group. And if you have the ability to say to your table, hey, how do we change this, and get constructive criticism, you're doing just fine.
That's right. Taking a break is one of those things that is never, ever brought up when people talk about TTRPG, and how to play and prep for a break is never brought up, even less, right? I do feel that if the GM feels like they need to take a break and tells the table, that the table should 100% back them up.
Yep.
Do not tell your GM, no, I want to keep playing.
You can, but your game's going to end, right? Like if your GM is saying, listen, I need to take a break, like I'm running on fumes here, and you as a table badger that GM into keep going, they will burn out to the point of quitting. Like they're just going to quit. And then that's that. And your game is over. So acknowledge those warning signs and get on them.
The GM has one of the toughest jobs in setting up the game for everyone to enjoy, and those forever GMs sometimes need a little break to recharge and maybe get some more inspiration from other sources, right? If your GM requests a break, this is a great opportunity, like I said, you listener, to step up and play as the GM. Get a run shot.
You can get free one shots. Whatever. It doesn't even cost you anything. There are free ones out there. Nothing. They may be good. They may not be good, but they're free. They don't cost you nothing.
What is that? Free RPG Day.
Free RPG Day has they do release it.
Always have every.
But
every
I mean,
year,
they release an adventure, right? Like there's various adventures, but you can go and check out DM's Guild, or you can check out Drive Through RPG, and there's lots out there. Right. So
We've given you
given,
guys a whole bunch of, even like Lady
That's right.
Blackbird or something like that. Something small like Lasers and Feelings.
There's loads out there.
That would be amazing to play just as a one shot. Just
Give your GM a break.
The first time is the scariest.
That's right. You'll be fine.
But once you're behind the screen, you'll understand and get a new appreciation what goes on behind there. It's so awesome.
100%. You got to do it.
That's it.
That's all.
That's all we got.
Well, Finney, since we've reached the end of our conversation, I think there's still one thing left, and that is for us to break on into the post-pod. Post-pod. Hey, that was a good one.
All right.
I like that one. That was a great one. Finney, I wrote the post-pod question today, so you have to answer first.
All right.
Very light. The post-pod question of this episode is, what snack should absolutely be banned at the table, and why is it something loud? It doesn't have to
pork rinds and Doritos.
It doesn't have to be loud, dude. Pork rinds gross me out. Straight up. They gross me out. Yeah, I don't like pork rinds in a bag.
I don't like the smell.
No, I don't like anything about them.
That's
not for me.
And Doritos, you got orange cheese everywhere.
I'm not a big fan of that.
You keep that away. Or if you're going to use chopsticks to eat it.
Yeah, you can get those little choppy sticks. Yep.
Yeah. No, those would be my two banned snacks. I'm more of the pretzels, the gummies kind of thing. Something that's clean.
Yep. Cleanish.
Like a quick wipe on the napkin gets you squeaky clean. Yeah. Done. How about you?
So I'm in a similar boat. It's definitely going to be like chips that have residue on your fingers, especially if you're playing anything having to do with cards or miniatures.
Yeah.
But my immediate thought went to chips and salsa, right?
Oh,
and the reason for is you're probably going to have a communal bowl of salsa, which means it's going to take up table space.
Gross.
Which means that when I dip my chip into salsa, there's a possibility I may slop some salsa on its way to my mouth onto the table, and that would be not
and
cool.
There's 7 of you dipping out of that salsa bowl. There's going to be some cross contamination in there.
So that would be my that would be the one that I'd say, you know what, nah. If you want to have that, you're gonna have to get up and go and have that somewhere else. But I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty lenient when it comes to it. If you're really going to town on like chips, or like, honestly, if you're eating celery sticks and carrots and just crunching away, distracting everyone at the table, I don't like that either. So obviously be respectful of everybody at the table. But I like your idea of the gummies. I like mints. I'm a big mint fan. So but the something that's just gonna kind of keep you going. That's my style.
Yeah. So the noisy stuff has
you can have it, just don't have it at the table. Have it somewhere else.
Yeah. DG says this because I sat beside him and ate celery.
So now if you did, I didn't actually notice. So that just happens to be a funny coincidence. No, I just got a picture of someone like just mowing down on a carrot, right? Like eating it like a horse, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this episode of the podcast. This is the final one of 2025, so I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this year and listening to us. We do have lots coming to you in 2026. Wherever you chose to stream this from, we do appreciate it. We have this out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, and the YouTube address is youtube.com/@DadGamingOnline. You can also check us out when we stream our Dungeons and Dragons games every single Sunday night, starting at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That is also on that YouTube channel. You can also check them out on Twitch at twitch.tv/DGOnline.
You have an email that you can reach out to us at. It is mastersofpenandpaper@gmail.com. All words, no symbols. Drop us a line. Let us know what your idea of awful snack
Yeah, I
is.
was gonna say, tell us all about your snacks at a game. I'm interested in that.
Your top pick and
That's
your
right,
bottom
yeah,
pick
absolutely.
snacks, please. That would be great. We do have a Discord server which has our own little G corner in there, and as well as a whole bunch of awesome in there chatting, making a
their
whole
thing.
bunch of political baloney. No, there's
Very little. Yeah,
politics
yeah,
going
yeah.
on in
It's a
there.
great place to be.
It's nerds.
We're just hanging out
Yeah.
talking about video games and tabletop RPGs.
That's right.
And
And
food.
food.
Lots of food.
food.
Great food. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. This is episode 35. That's now in the bank. That means episode 36 is the next one. You'll hear that in about 2 weeks' time. And until then, take good care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.